Mundo G llegó para poder hablar con el señor Witcher en persona. Estamos hablando de Henry Cavill, también lo conocerán como Súperman, con quien vamos a conversar sobre su costado más nerd, más geek. ¿Juega videojuegos? ¿Cómo se preparó para hacer este gran rol que muchos de nosotros esperamos, ya sea por los libros o el mundo del gaming?
Hi Henry, it's very nice being here with you.
It's great being here with you too, thank
I
you.
want to ask you about your geeky and gamer side.
Oh, okay.
So because when we heard that your first approach to Geralt was through a video game, how much of a gamer are you?
Very much of a gamer. I mean, it depends on who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to the average person, very much, massively a gamer. But if I'm talking to a pro gamer, no, he or she would think that I'm not as much of a gamer. I only have a certain amount of time in my life, actually. I was going to say my free time, but I don't have much of that either, where I get to play computer games. And when I do, I get very involved. I really get stuck into it, especially when it's a good game that comes along, like Witcher 3 or the Total War series. Love
What
those.
are you playing right now?
It depends. It depends where I am, because I'm traveling right now, so online games are pretty much out of the question. Total War, Warhammer 2, that's the one which I'm on now, because that's always a good jump-in game. I can always jump in, play for a bit, play for a few hours, pass the time, jump out again. And then I can come back and nothing's changed. I'm looking forward to the new World of Warcraft coming out. That looks good, and how they're resetting everything down to 60. That's going to be cool, because it makes the game a lot more playable. I never got back into the retail version of the game. That's why I enjoyed jumping into Classic, because it was 0 to 60 and it felt obtainable, where the retail version, it was, I don't know what they got up to, 100 and something, and you just think, ugh, I mean, that's just so unobtainable and so far away to start the whole game again. I didn't really want to do that. But now they're resetting everything from 0 to 60, so I'm looking forward to that.
You're tackling into some of the most iconic characters. I mean, Superman, and then you have The Witcher, which are very embedded into pop culture. And I mean, do you feel that there's more scrutiny from fans when you get into those huge roles?
I think so, yes, because the fan base is already built in. It's not like a great movie which comes out and then it generates a fan base because it's a great movie.
Expectation, there's projections.
Absolutely, expectation, projection. Everyone has their own personal opinion of what and who, in my case, Geralt should be. And that comes from either books where you are picturing your own thing in your head, or games where you get to make every decision. And so having to watch a TV show where someone else is now making all the decisions for you and has painted all the picture already, it can be frustrating for people. But for me, I just get to be a fan who's doing it. And I think anyone who's a fan of The Witcher would love to be in the same place. And so that for me is the excitement. I don't feel any of that pressure. I want to get it right because I want to get it right, but I'm more actually excited just to be here and be playing Geralt of Rivia. For me, that's a really a dream come true.
There's a picture of the character, games of the character, books of the character. What's the most Cavill thing about it?
There's little bits here and there. I don't think I could put it down to details. It's difficult to put it down to details because a lot of what I do is instinctual and natural. I think it's probably, when you guys watch the show, you can say that is a Cavill piece of The Witcher, and hopefully that will translate wonderfully and people will love it and it'll become a great thing, like Doug Cockle's voice in Witcher 3, for example. If I were to use one example which people can compare to something, it would be the voice. Doug Cockle did his voice in Witcher 3. I was doing a voice at the start of the show and I was like, this isn't working. I need to bring some more gravitas to the voice. And I loved Doug's performance, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't just going to be a carbon copy of Doug's performance. And so instead of doing the American accent, I gave it to my own natural accent. And Doug's voice in The Witcher 3 it's in more of a whisper register, where
Yours is more like...
it's a bit sort of gravelly, more gravelly. And they are similar, there are comparisons, especially when one is conveying different emotions depending on whatever. And I can't wait to sit down with Doug and actually talk about this. But yeah, that's the one thing which I think I could probably say that's what I did, and it was very, very consciously done.
what I've seen so far is really good. Thank you for your time, and it's been an honor being with you.
Thank you very much.
I want to ask you about the involvement of Sapkowski, because we know the history that he didn't like the game that much, and he didn't like some of the movies or the series, and now you had a fresh start where you could do something with him and make something great. What did he tweak? What did he ask? What was that this time we made it right?
So I was terrified to meet Sapkowski for the first time because I had heard that he had been displeased with a lot of adaptations of it. But when we sat down as two writers, and that I think was sort of the first basis of respect, which is that I have great respect for what he does because I do the same thing, and I know that it would be terrifying for me to take something that I poured my whole heart into and then let someone else change it and make it theirs. So we talked a lot about that. We also talked about basically why he wrote the books and what parts of himself were in it. Those were the things that were important for me to honor. From the very beginning, I pitched him my vision of the show, and he signed off on it. He has the most interesting philosophy, though, which is that he has not actually seen any of the episodes so far. He watched the trailer for the first time in Italy with all the fans seeing it, and he got tearful. What he has chosen to do is, it's his analogy. He says, I don't want to see the groceries, I don't want to see the ingredients, I want to taste the soup when it's done. And it's so smart because clearly that's him saying, I trust you, and I just want to see it when it comes together and see it in its best possible form. So I'm really excited for him to see it.